Ready? Romans chapter number 3, 26. To declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just, and the justifier of him that which believeth in Jesus. That just means if you believe in Jesus, you've been justified. Justified means like you ain't never done it. It's not only not guilty, but it means you didn't do it. You just didn't do it at all. And that's a good thing. Whereas boasting then is excluded by what law of works? Nay, but by the law of faith. Therefore we conclude that man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. The law don't mean nothing. It was a schoolmaster to show you what was right and what was wrong. But you can't get to heaven through the law, only through the blood of Christ. Therefore we conclude that man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not also the Gentiles? Yea, the Gentiles also. So again, Paul's talking to the Roman church, and he's trying to convince them, because Peter, our first pope, he had to get chewed out. So Peter's being chewed out by the Apostle Paul and saying, listen, them Gentiles don't got to they don't got to be circumcised like y'all. They don't got to eat like y'all. They didn't got to dress like y'all. It's just like a Mexican. We eat certain foods, and occasionally I like soul food, but I don't want to just eat soul food the rest of my life. I don't want to eat Jewish food. I've been over there to Israel. They eat fish for breakfast. I don't want to eat that either. So God is basically saying, what Paul is saying is the law was the schoolmaster. Because of the schoolmaster, the only way you get to heaven is through the blood of Christ. And each church is going to do what each church wants to do. So the Gentiles, we're going to eat pork chops. We're going to eat bacon. We're going to eat chorizo. And we're going to like it. And we're going to like it a whole lot. Seeing as one God which justified the circumcision of faith and uncircumcision through faith, do we then make void the law? Do we void the law? No. Through faith? God forbid. We need the law. We need the lawman. Lawman showed up here Sunday. Alarm went off. Beep, beep, beep. And the lawman came. Why? He thought something was going on over here. So he came over here to check us out. Well, God set up a law. You kill a man, guess what? You're going to die. There was cities of refuge. You went over there, if you can make it that far, because the relatives of that dead man came looking for you, because they were going to kill you. And then you presented your case to the judge. And the judge would say one or two things. A, he'd say guilty or not guilty. If it was an accident and you were chopping wood and the handle came off and you killed that man by accident, not guilty. It was just an accident. So you just get to stay in the city. When I die, you can go home. Or you intentionally took that axe and you got mad at him because you was gambling the night before. You lost $200 and you took that axe and you just started fighting, and the next thing you know, you took out your knife and you killed the guy. The law is the schoolmaster. It is to teach us to do yes, right, and wrong. We send our kids to learn. To learn what? How to talk, how to write, how to dress. They don't teach that too good anymore. They're supposed to teach morals. Yes, sir. No, sir. They're supposed to teach honesty. They're supposed to teach our children to get them prepared for the world, because one day they're going to have to get prepared. Now, I will say this, my children are not perfect. But Patricia went to school, learned to become a surgical assistant, makes good money. Priscilla, she decided she wanted to be a business degree. And, she said, you know what? I'm going to make money. I'm tired of being broke all the time. And she decided. And Seth, he decided, you know what? He was good at one thing. Somebody looked at him and said, you know what? You'd be a real good mechanic. And we're going to teach you everything. And you know what? They learned a skill how to earn money. You're not only supposed to learn how to earn money, but take care of your family, to love your mate when she is a nagger and nagging you. You love her anyway. You learn to love your children, even though sometimes they're a pain in the neck. You still learn to love them. You learn to discipline. You learn, hey, there's a certain point I let go. My children are too old to spank. It's too late now. But when they were young, oh, they got it. They got it. And I expect respect. All I can tell you is you gotta have the law. The law. God forbid we gotta have the law. The law is the schoolmaster. We were established through the law. You know, every non-Christian can tell you what a Christian ought to do. You ain't acting like no Christian. Every drunk tell you, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. You say you as Christian. Have you ever noticed that non-Christians know more about being a Christian than Christians? You know why? They know. They know what's right. They know how to act. They know how you're supposed to dress. They know exactly what a Christian is supposed to do. Why? The law. The law taught them that. The law. They might have gone to church when they were young, when they were dragged to church by Mama and Daddy, and Mama and Daddy made them go to church. And you know what? They learned what a Christian was supposed to do. They may not be serving God anymore. They're not even saved. They're not going to heaven, but they at least know, hey, when I see a Christian, they ain't doing right. I know about it. I know about it. Chapter 4. What shall we say? Then that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found. For if Abraham were justified by works, he whereof to glory, but not before God. For what saith the Scripture? Abraham believed God, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. Counted. He believed. He believed. You know, one thing about Abraham, every one of them men in that Old Testament, they all had their ways. And there was not one perfect judge, not one perfect Christian. Moses, sometimes he'd be a whiner. Samson, he was a womanizer. He was the first hippie. He was a Nazarene. He was the first hippie. I mean, he got long hair, long beard. He liked to drink wine and chase women. But you know what? He served God. He loved God. And he went out there and did something for God. Even though at times he didn't act like it. Even though at times he knew better not to do certain things, he did it anyway. There's flaws in every man. There's going to be flaws in you. You are not the perfect Christian. So when you see a Christian and they're not perfect, it's not your job to say, you know what? You're not perfect, man. You ain't perfect. You're not the perfect Christian. Well, explain that to Samson as he's drinking beer, as he's getting drunk, as he's chasing women, Philistine women. He knew better. He's supposed to be hanging around. He's supposed to be getting a nice Jewish girl. Settle down. He didn't do that. He was a wild, long-haired hippie with a big old giant beard. I mean, he was one of them Duck Dynasty boys before there was even a Duck Dynasty. He was out there always messing around. He loved to fight. He loved to gamble. You said a Christian? Yeah, he was a judge of the whole nation of Israel. Abraham believed. Samson believed. David, the fornicator, the murderer, believed. What did they do? They believed. And God looked down and looked at them men and said, you know what? They ain't perfect. These three men, these men in the Bible, they're not perfect. But they believe. And I'm going to take their belief and I'm going to call it righteousness. That means doing right. Justified. That means like you never sinned before. I mean, you ain't never sinned. You didn't even steal a cookie. You never told a lie to your mama. You never did anything wrong. And Abraham did that. It was counted unto him under righteousness. Now to him that worketh is a reward, not reckoned of grace, but of debt. If you get set and they tell you, the next door neighbor says, listen, I'm going to plant me a palm tree. I need a whole dig. I need it about, 3 feet, about 3